Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new vlog. Saturday morning, going to work, my first Saturday at the bank, and shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Yesterday was my first Friday, and they scheduled me to have that be my first Friday as opposed to the Friday before, which was close to the first of the month, just to kind of weed me into the craziness that goes on at the bank on Fridays. I'm sure you can imagine. But it wasn't too bad yesterday. I did pretty well. I didn't really get caught up in anything. It's easy to kind of get flustered, especially in the drive-thru, which is the station that I work. You know that people are going through the drive-thru because they don't want to wait in line inside, if there is a line. So the idea is to try to, be expedient with their transaction, but at the same time you have to be accurate and do it, correctly. So it can be a little frustrating, and you can get flustered pretty easily if little things add up and you're just kind of getting a little bit behind in the transaction. And I mean, everybody when they start out, it's, if you can hear that sound in the back, it's water jugs that we got from the store that I haven't taken inside yet. But if everybody starts out as a teller in the banking industry for the most part, and when you have never done anything like that before, it's easy to get flustered, especially because you're working with money and you want to be certain of what you're doing and making sure that you're, like I said, being accurate with your transactions, but you don't want to keep people waiting in the drive-thru. So it's just something that I'll pick up, and I've already been told by my supervisor that I'm getting better at it. I'm getting quicker with the transactions, so it's encouraging. It's good news. But I'm only working a few hours today, so that's nice. I'll be able to get home and have the rest of the afternoon and the evening. Sarah and her mom went to go get our nieces, and they're gonna spend the night with us, so we'll have some time with them later. I don't know when they're getting back for sure. It might be around lunchtime, so it could just be when I'm done with work. But if not, I plan on getting home and going for a quick run. I got out for the first time the other day and ran. I don't know how many months it's been since I've run consistently like that, but felt pretty good. I thought for sure that I would get, I'd black out or or I would just feel like I want to vomit or something, but didn't feel too bad. And the next morning I felt pretty good, but then for some reason the soreness that comes from running after not running for a long period of time, that came a little delayed this time. It was like 2 days after I ran that I felt sore and just kind of yucky, but like I said, it wasn't too bad. So we have our alumni soccer game coming up, which reminds me, the last vlog or the vlog before, I said that I had found out from my boss that the schedule was out and I was not able to get that day off for the alumni game at my high school. But something came up, conflict with another teller came up, and she had to switch some things around, and so my boss ended up giving me that Saturday off. So I am now able to make it to the alumni game, which is very exciting because I was really bummed about it not being able to go before, but now I can go. So I'm kind of in like a mini training mode to get at least into some shape to where I can play and have fun. Because last year it wasn't too bad. Later in the second half, you could tell that I was done. So I want to be able to actually play the game this year and have fun and not feel like I'm fighting for air rather than fighting for the balls. And also when I get home later, whether it's after my nieces and my wife and mother-in-law are back, or if it's before, I'm going to try to write for a half an hour. I'm trying this thing where if I, as before I've said that I want to try to write for 15 minutes every day, but some days I just don't have the energy or I don't have the time, and so I figure if I miss a couple of days, then if I can find time, especially like on a day like today, I don't have to work in the latter half of the day. I can just sit down for a half an hour, or if I can, I'll do it a little bit longer and write for that amount of time. It won't necessarily be, evenly balanced in terms of the exact amount of time. If I miss 2 days or if I miss 3 days of 15-minute writing and only write for half an hour today, obviously that's not the same amount of time, but at least it's something. And it's sitting down for a longer period of time to write. So it's hard to get to really produce anything writing-wise that's of any solid value, because if it's in a short period of time, because normally once you get writing for 10 to 15, 20 minutes, then by that time you should be in a rhythm of writing to where you can continue developing the story from where you began writing that day. So if I usually go through and I'll just read the previous 3 or 4 paragraphs before where I left off last time, and then I'll write from there, so I can kind of get back into where I am in the story and the feel of what's going on. And by that time, and then you write for 10 minutes, by that time it's over if you're writing for 15 minutes. So it's kind of frustrating when you only have 15 minutes, but at the same time that's just there in place, so that way you can say, well, at least I got a little bit of something done, instead of just another day going by with no writing. But with all that being said, I just hope that today can be a productive day. Happy Monday, guys. It is a soon-to-be rainy day out today. We're just kind of hanging out inside. Went for a run earlier. Did almost a mile. And did some sprints, and just to stretch my legs out and see how my stride is, and see if I can still run. When you don't run around for a while and you try to, it's very hard to do sometimes, or at least it feels like it's very hard. So just trying to get ready for that alumni game so I can enjoy it. It's been a busy weekend, and good start to the week, I would say. I got some stuff done today, got the blog post sent out, and now I am sitting down finally at my desk, and I'm reading through part 1 of my new book, which, if you've read my blog posts and if you've received my newsletter, you know that the title of that is Imminent. You'll figure out why, I'm sure, when you see the book synopsis and then maybe the cover. You might be able to get it from that, but excited about it and seeing what all will happen. But the exciting development with that is that I spoke with my editor from book 2, from Unguarded, and he said he's interested in working with me on this book. I'm just reading through part 1, because I have that done, reading through that and kind of ironing out the kinks and getting all the stuff, the ideas that I want to be put out onto the page, make sure they're all there, making sure that everything looks good in the text and makes sense. I usually double check character names, and because I write them down as I make them. So when I'm writing the draft for the first time, I'll write them down so that way I know that it's used, and then for some reason if I go to make a name later and I think I've used that name before for a character, then I can just check and say, okay, yeah, I've used it, or no, I haven't, it's not there. So little things like that I do along the way help with the writing. So getting that ready for him, and then send that out to him sometime this week, so he can edit it. And we're going to do this book piecemeal. Unguarded was done all at one time, but that was just the circumstance we were in at the time, and this circumstance is different. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see the story move forward, and I'm just reading through it, and like I said, I'll just get that to my editor, and we'll go from there, and hopefully he doesn't send back too many revisions. But that's the point of having an editor, is to have somebody else read your work to bounce ideas off of, so they can see it, and that way it gives your eyes and your mind a break from what you know is there and what you've written, and get feedback. So I'm all for that, and if you're new to writing, you should be too. That's a good trait to pick up, and to not rely on yourself for your writings. Something else that I forgot to say that I did today, our washer has been making a really loud like grinding noise, and so I called in, and the service place is gonna call me sometime in the next 24 hours to schedule an appointment to have them come out. We still have a warranty on it, so that's good. It's just a very unpleasant, very audible sound. Whenever it happens, Zazu he runs away. It's kind of funny just because it scares the crap out of him. But I don't know what the deal is, what was going on with it, and I tried looking into it and researching what I could, but I don't know enough about washers to do that. It's just one of those extra things that you don't want to have to deal with, but at the same time, you want to make sure that anything like that, like a repair of an appliance, gets done correctly. So, good morning, guys. It is now Wednesday, and I'm heading to the laundromat because though the washer is working and it's still making that sound, Sarah doesn't want me to run the clothes or run any laundry through the washer, which I agree, because I don't want to mess the washer up and have to buy a whole new one down the road. But at the same time, it's just like I don't want to go all the way to the laundromat. But bring my laptop with me, so I'm going to edit some and see how much I can get done this morning between there and then after I get home. Our dryer works fine, so I can just do the clothes up in the washer there and then come back home and dry them. So shouldn't be gone too long. But I'm hoping to get through well, as much as I can, obviously, but I got through 10 pages the other day of editing of the 28 that are in the first part of the book. So and I'm talking Word document pages. And so if I can get another 7 to 10 pages done this morning, then that'd be one bigger step closer to having the first part edited by me. I get my first read-through done, and then I'll send it off to my editor for him to look at. So we decided that we're going to do this book piecemeal. I'll just send him the parts as I finish them, and then that way he doesn't have as much to do at one time. We're coming up into the school year. He teaches down in Tennessee, and we worked it out last year, or for the last book. We worked it out pretty well, where he edited the whole book over his Christmas break, which I was very gracious to him for taking his time, the time of his break to do that. But that's what he said. He wanted to do it that way, and he was excited to get to work on it. And you can tell that he enjoys doing what he does. So looking forward to working with him again and seeing what can happen with this book. As you probably are aware, I've changed the tentative release date for this book. It's no longer late summer like I intended, just because there's no way I can finish it and give it, do it justice and give it the attention that it needs from now until then. So I am changing it to a later time into the fall, but I'll give out more details on that as time goes by. I just kind of want to give myself some space mentally, just because I think that's part of the reason why sometimes I don't get writing done, because in my mind I'm thinking that it's going to be late summer, early fall, and I'm trying to push for that. But then when I don't get a lot of writing done at any given time, it's like, it's discouraging for me to try to reach that goal release dates. And good morning again. It is Thursday, and I'm off to work. Just dropped Sarah off at her work and have about 15 minutes or so before I need to clock in. I was thinking about what I'm going to do for the cover for Imminent, and I believe that I'm going to contact my cover designer either tomorrow, which would be today for you guys, or maybe next week, sometime early next week, depending on how much he has on his plate at the time that I get it to him. It could be a week and a half turnaround, could be a couple of weeks, just depends. Keep an eye out for news about the cover. Should be coming out pretty soon, barring any weird impediments along the way, or if I have to kind of rethink the cover for any reason. So it's exciting. Yeah, that's about it for this week. So if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I always am glad that people watch the videos, and I'm thankful for the following that I do have, even if it's just a few views per video. And not even just YouTube, but with my blog and the newsletter and just everything that I do. I'm very grateful for everyone who's interested and who likes to talk with me about what I'm doing and follow along. It really means a lot. And if you aren't subscribed to this yet, or to my newsletter, or to my blog, please check that out and do that if you like. It's the best way to keep up on my work and my life and all that I'm doing. And it's another way to connect with me, aside from tweeting me or posting on Facebook. So that's about it. I'm just getting to work now, so I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.